Hi, everyone. Today I'm here with one of my great friends, Betyna. Hi, Betyna. Uh, we went to high school together and we were in the same class and we never met. But we ended up meeting when we were at the University of Florida. We were teaching partners in the Teaching English as a Second Language certification program. So that's when we became friends. And I wanted to talk to her today because of her unique experiences in healthcare and in research. So, hi, Betyna.
Hello, Patrick.
So just to start out, introduce yourself. How old are you? Where are you from? Tell us about your background.
Sure. My name is Betyna Baris. I am 26 years old, originally from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, currently living in West Palm Beach, Florida. And my background is in anthropology. I love anthropology, especially cultural and linguistics anthropology. I have a minor in teaching English as a second language. I just finished up my master's in public health. And yeah, that's me. Professionally, had many different jobs. It took a while for me to find out that I wanted to do public health, specifically epidemiology. But now that I, have found it, it's great.
Good. And we have news at the end of the video, which we'll save the surprise for our 50 listeners.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
So, how did you first become interested in working in healthcare? Was it something that you always expected to do, something you always wanted to do? I know you mentioned, you studied anthropology, which I guess you can draw some similarities, but not necessarily.
All right, so I first became interested in, I guess, science in general when I was in like the seventh grade. We had a substitute and we had to watch this movie about salmonella. There's this guy ate some bad chicken, he got salmonella, and I thought that was interesting, especially because the video, it kind of like gave you this animated glimpse of, oh, like what's going on inside the human body when you do have a disease, bacteria infection, and then how your cells are start attacking it, and then what happens to you physically and stuff. And I was like, that is really cool. I could see myself like learning more about that. So I then decided that I wanted to be pre-med. I didn't know there were other options when it came to healthcare or just caring systems in general. So I was pre-med in high school. I did all those classes. When I went to college, also decided to be pre-med. But I wanted to do pre-med on something that I liked. So I wanted to take the hardcore science classes, but I also wanted my major to be something that I was interested in. So my first semester at the University of Florida, I was a history major. That lasted a whole semester because the university did not have the topics that I wanted to study. I wanted to do Asian studies and I wanted to do African American studies. Those came on when I was like a junior and senior. I switched to anthropology. Anthropology is a study of man and can encompass man's culture, man's language, medical anthropology. Um, there's a whole bunch of subsets you could potentially do. So I did that because it focused on learning about people's cultures, which I found really interesting as well. But then you could also tie it medically. So I did that. I did really well in that. I did not do so well in the like pre-med stuff though. So I did not do well in physics. Physics and I were not friends. And so I kind of had to like shift my track a little bit. I took a public health and anthropology course my junior year, and that's when I realized, oh, I could do public health and still have it be like medical related.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Salmonella, for inspiring Bettina. That's a funny thing that you never told me that story. That maybe it would have happened anyway. But it's funny to have like an anecdote that you can associate it with. Was it like a medical video or was it a movie?
I want to say it was like a medical video because they had like other diseases going on too. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know, it was just a series and there was a sub. We watched it. I was like, oh, these macrophage looking things are really cool. I wonder what they do. And then like, yeah.
All right, cool. And you mentioned that you were pre-med track, but the same thing happened to me. I was in psychology and I wasn't good at calculus, which I don't know what that has to do with psychology, but I ended up changing majors. So um, that brings me to the next question. When people think about healthcare, I think the first thing, especially even with little kids, you always say, "Oh, doctor, lawyer." Those are like the traditional professions that people think of. So when people think about healthcare, they think about doctors, they think about nurses, they think about maybe psychologists. Um, was that something that you were interested at some point in becoming a medical doctor, like a general practitioner? Why or why not?
I was interested in being a medical doctor. Um, I think I wanted to do like pediatrics.
Hmm.
I really love kids, and I think that their health in general, is extremely important. And then I think I kind of like flip flopped. I'm like, oh, I wanted to do surgery, and it was always kind of up in the air. But I always figured that I would always work with children.
Hmm. Is that something that you'd still be interested in doing in the future?
I'd like to be a medical doctor, not necessarily. Um, I find healthcare in this country quite cumbersome.
Hmm.
There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of barriers, but even on top of the barriers, there's just a lot to kind of like muck through.
Hmm.
And so I don't think I would want to be an MD or a DO.
Fair enough. After you graduated from the University of Florida, can you talk a little bit about the work you did? I know you had like 14 jobs. I was sitting at home looking for a job, and Betyna's like, "Oh yeah, I just got another one."
Oh my
Like,
God.
Betyna, you're dry. The whole market's drying up because you're working everywhere.
Oh my goodness. If only it was so. So I think after I graduated, I was on like the PA track essentially.
Mm,
So I had to get healthcare experience. I wanted to do it at home, save money on rent, save money on a whole lot of other stuff too. So I came home and I worked in a gastroenterology practice, which is um, so gastroenterology is anything from your mouth to the anus. So it's that entire system there, from just chewing down to the digestive system, the liver, and then when you excrete. Um, so I did that for like I think 2 years, just to kind of gain like
mm-hmm,
hands-on patient experience. And it was there that I realized that I really wanted to do public health, just because I was working with patients. I noticed a lot of inequalities within the patients that we saw within our practice alone. And then because it was in a wealthier area, it excluded a lot of patients as well that probably really needed the service. Um, it was quite expensive. Even I, working there, couldn't afford to go there as a patient.
mm,
And I'm like,
yeah.
well, that's kind of a problem because, you know, even though the doctors were very kind enough to, give me advice without, seeing me as a patient, that's still an inequality. So I was medical assistant there for like 2 years. I feel like you say I had a lot of jobs. I mean, I did a lot of other things just because I like to keep my time busy. So like I would tutor children in like math, English, reading, and stuff like that. So I did that as like a little side hustle. I also worked part time at the mall because I really liked the store. That was pretty much it. That was just like an accidental thing. I did, after I left the GI practice, I went to research, clinical research, which I thought I was going to like love. I really thought I was going to love it. And I hated it. And I'm so glad I found out that I hated it, because that is part of the thing that you can do in the public health track is, clinical trial research. And because I know I don't like it, I never have to do it, which is great. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Like, I felt like you've exaggerated how many jobs I've had.